Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming our guest of honor, Mr. S. Iswaran, Minister for Trade and Industry. Let's welcome him with a round of applause, shall we? Please be seated, ladies and gentlemen. Minister Iswaran, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, a very good morning and welcome to the SIEW Opening Keynote 2015. I'm Ravi Nadesan, your host for the day. To facilitate more questions and comments, we have a real-time interactive platform called Pigeonhole Live that allows you to pose questions directly to the speakers using your mobile devices. Allow me to tell you more about it, ladies and gentlemen. Now, you will also be able to vote on the questions asked by others. The moderator will be able to then address the most popular questions to the speakers. Please log on to the URL link www.siew.sg/live via your web browser to post your questions. Now, ladies and gentlemen, it's good to see all of you here at this point in time. We're having the rest of our guests come in and settle down for a bit. There we are. Do take your seats. And for those of you already here, ladies and gentlemen, you may like to know that Wi-Fi is indeed available. And of course, to pose your questions via Pigeonhole Live, that's going to be very important. We are on Facebook and Twitter as well. And of course, content can be found on LinkedIn. Now, ladies and gentlemen, it's good to see that all of us are settled down. It is now time for me to invite our guest of honor up on stage to present to all of us his SIEW opening remarks. Please welcome Minister S. Iswaran, Minister for Trade and Industry.
Distinguished guests, members of the industry, ladies and gentlemen, very good morning to all of you. First, let me warmly welcome you to Singapore International Energy Week 2015. It's in its 8th year, and SIEW continues to be an important platform where policymakers, industry leaders, and academics come together to discuss the global energy issues of the day, and also to exchange ideas and of course, engender closer cooperation. The global energy landscape, needless to say, continues to evolve, sometimes quite unexpectedly, and it presents always new opportunities and challenges. And oil prices are a case in point. Last year, when we gathered at SIEW, Brent was at $85 per barrel. Today, it is at about 48. I didn't check it this morning, but I suspect it's in that kind of region. And gas prices have also fallen similarly during the same period. And this is due to both a sustained increase in supply as well as a slowdown in demand arising from weaker global economic conditions. The current low energy prices have also triggered a relook at upstream investments in oil and gas. Supply and demand side adjustments will yield a new equilibrium, but exactly where that might be remains, as of now, yet uncertain. For industry and governments, therefore, this is an important juncture at which to reassess the robustness of various strategies and policies and test them against a variety of energy scenarios going forward. One potential game changer is natural gas, and we expect to see an increase in gas traded across regions, with most of the gas being exported to Asia. Bloomberg projects that by 2025, global LNG export capacity may reach as much as 500 million metric tons per annum, 40% higher than projected LNG demand. In the longer term, the growth of unconventional gas sources such as shale and the building of more LNG infrastructure will allow more countries to produce their own gas and make it available for export. At the same time, renewables are expected to make more headway due to environmental and climate change concerns and technological advances. Bloomberg's New Energy Finance New Energy Outlook 2015 report, it says that renewable energy technologies are increasingly gaining support due to continued cost reductions and growing accessibility through new financing models. Renewables are expected to account for 60% of the 9,800 gigawatts of new generation capacity that will be installed from now till 2040. So what does this all mean for us as countries, as companies? Who will be the winners, and what will be the relative positioning of various sources of energy? The answers to these questions will have a profound impact on producers and consumers, especially in the rising economies of Asia. Governments and businesses in this region will need to adapt to changing market trends, even as they seek solutions to meet their growing energy needs. Against this backdrop, the theme for SIEW this year aptly focuses on global energy transitions and its impact on Asia and global markets. Today, I want to share with you some of the initiatives and strategies in Singapore's energy sector that are designed to help us adapt to these shifts and foster resilience and competition in our energy markets. With significant and rapid changes in the global energy market, it is quite vital, especially for a small economy like Singapore, to adopt and sustain a long view to achieve the goals of a competitive, secure, and sustainable energy supply. And this is an approach and focus that has served us well over the last 5 decades. 2 decades ago, we restructured and commenced liberalizing Singapore's electricity industry. In particular, we opened up the generation market to competition among commercial players, regulated the transmission distribution segment as a monopoly, and progressively introduced retail contestability. One beneficial outcome was that our gencos switched from fuel oil to cleaner, more efficient, and carbon-friendly natural gas. From 2006, we took steps to introduce LNG to supplement piped natural gas. Today, our LNG terminal gives us greater energy security and access to competitive LNG supplies through source diversification. Technological and business developments continue to offer Singapore more energy options for the present and future, such as advanced power generation, electricity imports, and solar energy. To realize the full potential of these and other options, the government can and will further enable businesses to make informed investment decisions to meet Singapore's future energy needs. In particular, information on our energy market and land allocation policy will enable the industry to plan for the long term. EMA has already been providing market information such as energy generation and consumption data through its publication of the annual Singapore Energy Statistics. This enhances market transparency and facilitates investment decisions. Given that power generation investments entail high capital costs with commensurate payback periods, EMA intends to put out more information on the longer-term energy market outlook in Singapore. This could include information on the projected growth of electricity system demand, as well as an indicative mix of generation sources coming from gas plants, solar, and electricity imports by the year 2030. And further, to ensure that Singapore continues to optimize land use to meet our future energy needs, EMA will also seek feedback on a proposed land allocation framework for new power plants. This takes on added significance in Landscarce Singapore, and EMA will release more details on the industry consultation today. Besides facilitating investments in the industry, the government will also create modalities that allow energy users and businesses to adapt and respond flexibly to market developments. And one such development is in our natural gas market. Trading in short-term LNG supplies will increasingly become an important means to manage volatility in gas markets. The increase in LNG trading activities is expected to continue as new supplies such as shale gas come onto markets over the coming years and more countries build LNG infrastructure. With the LNG trading desks of about 30 companies located here, Singapore is already a regional leader in this space. To enhance the trading environment, we plan to establish a secondary gas trading market in Singapore, where gas buyers and sellers can trade gas on a short-term basis domestically. A secondary gas trading market can yield several potential benefits. First, it will allow domestic gas price discovery that reflects Singapore's demand and supply conditions. Second, gas users will be able to complement their portfolio of long and medium-term gas supplies with short-term supplies so that they can optimize their portfolios and mitigate price volatility. Third, such a market will enhance Singapore's position as a hub for LNG and gas trading activities and pave the way for the potential establishment of a gas futures market. Establishing a secondary gas trading market will mark yet another major milestone in the development of Singapore's gas market. EMA will take steps to systematically develop the market following a study and reviews of gas trading in other jurisdictions such as Belgium, the Netherlands, and the UK. As industry engagement and support is key to the success of such a market, EMA will issue a consultation paper today to seek industry feedback on a proposed market design and implementation roadmap, as well as on the establishment of an industry working group to deliberate on the details for implementing a secondary gas trading market in Singapore. Industry feedback from this consultation process will be very important as it will inform in a very material way EMA's decisions on the next steps for this initiative. Beyond the upstream segments of the energy market, enhancing retail competition is a policy priority in order to render more choice and benefits to our consumers. From 2001, we have progressively liberalized the electricity retail market to allow more consumers to choose their electricity retailer. Most recently, on 1st of July this year, we lowered the contestability threshold from 4 megawatt hours to 2 megawatt hours. To date, these efforts have allowed 33,000 commercial and industrial consumers to participate in the contestable market. From large users such as the petchem companies, manufacturing companies, and shopping malls, to smaller users such as coffee shops, kindergartens, and community establishments. These consumers can better manage their energy cost by purchasing directly from an electricity retailer a package that best meets their needs instead of remaining on a regulated tariff package from SP Services. Our ultimate aim is to have full retail competition. Hence, the Energy Market Authority is working with industry stakeholders to fully open the electricity retail market to competition by the second half of 2018. This will enable the remaining 1.3 million consumers, which are mainly households, to have flexibility and choice in their electricity consumption. The Energy Market Authority will release more details on the plans for full retail competition shortly. Beyond government initiatives, individuals and businesses play a key role in building a strong and vibrant energy industry. Hence, EMA's biennial Singapore Energy Awards aim to recognize individuals and organizations who have made significant contributions to Singapore's energy industry in the areas of capability development and innovation. This year, there are two recipients: Neil McGregor, former Chief Executive Officer of Singapore LNG Corporation and current Senior Managing Director, Enterprise Development Group, Temasek Holdings. He's the recipient of the award in the individual category, while the HDB, Housing and Development Board, is the recipient in the organization category. Neil and the HDB impressed the judging panel, which was chaired by Mr. Kwah Chong Sing, who's the chairman of Neptune Orient Lines and ST Engineering, with their pioneering efforts in Singapore's energy industry. In his role as the first CEO of SLNG, which planned and built Singapore's first LNG terminal, Neil contributed significantly to the development of the local LNG ecosystem and securing Singapore's energy future. HDB stood out and continues to stand out for catalyzing the deployment of solar photovoltaics in Singapore on a larger and on a scale that is more impactful by aggregating solar demand for the public sector, investing in solar R&D, and promoting data sharing to catalyze further solar deployment. Please join me in congratulating both winners who are thoroughly deserving. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me just conclude by re-emphasizing the point that energy remains a critical resource for all economies. We all need resilient, sustainable, and competitive energy supplies. To this end, in Singapore, we continue to facilitate energy investments, increase options for our industry players, promote competition in the electricity market for the benefit of consumers, and develop capabilities and encourage innovation to strengthen our energy industry. We must also continue to foster dialogues and build the partnerships so that we can respond nimbly to the opportunities and challenges presented by shifts in the global energy landscape. I hope that throughout this week of SIEW events, you will have ample opportunities to actively exchange views with energy professionals, policymakers, and industry players, learn from each other's experiences, and generate ideas and solutions to forge a sustainable energy future. I want to thank all of you once again for joining us at the Singapore International Energy Week 2015, and I wish all of you a very productive week ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister, sir. We invite you to remain on stage to present the Singapore Energy Award 2015. Now, as the Minister has mentioned, ladies and gentlemen, the Energy Award, the Singapore Energy Award, or SEA for short, is a biennial award launched by the Energy Market Authority in 2013 to recognize organizations and individuals that have contributed to Singapore's energy sector and wider society through achievements in the areas of capabilities, development, and/or innovation. For this second edition of the awards, a total of 2 awards, one each for the individual and organization categories, will be presented. The award for the SEA 2015 individual category goes to Mr. Neil McGregor, Senior Managing Director of the Enterprise Development Group at Temasek and former Chief Executive Officer of the Singapore LNG Corporation. As the first CEO of the Singapore LNG, Mr. McGregor contributed significantly to Singapore's LNG ecosystem, which plays a big role in securing Singapore's energy future. Let's give him another round of applause, shall we, ladies and gentlemen? Next up, we have the award for the SEA 2015 Organization category. As mentioned, it goes to the Housing Development Board. Receiving the award on behalf of HDB is Mr. Sin Cheng Kei, Deputy CEO Building. HDB stood out for catalyzing the development of solar PV panels in Singapore on an impactful scale. It aggregated solar demand for the government, investing in solar R&D, and promoted data sharing. Let's give them another round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. HDB, a proud award right here. We've come to the end of the award ceremony. Thank you, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, congratulations to our award winners once again. Let's give them a round of applause.